Hey guys, April Henry here. Welcome to my 47th Facebook Live. You can watch all my previous ones on my website, which is aprilhenry.com, and my YouTube channel, which is also called April Henry. I'm going to be ending these May 29th because it'll be 50. The school year's over for most people, even online school. Um, but this week, I'm going to be giving you a behind the scenes look on some of my biggest books. Real quick, I think I found a new t shirt for you. It's Let's Summon Demons, which always gets a laugh if I wear it and the TSA people see it. So I've also been talking about other books that I like. This book is by Marge Piercy. It's called Braided Lives. Really like her books. Very intense. They kind of remind me of Susan Fromberg Schaefer in that you feel like you're in a real place with real people when you're with them. It's a book you fall into. I once saw Marge Piercy speaking at Powell's, and I went there. I was well before I was published. It was probably in the late 80s, early 90s. And I was so excited to see her. And I didn't really realize that if you're going to buy a book to be signed, you should buy her newest one. And so I came up with a copy of a book that I loved that was some tattered paperback I found used there and asked her to sign that. And when she was signing it, I said, I really want to be a writer. And I was like one of the first books that she had signed. So she like goes, I hate this pen. Why did they give me this pen? They know I don't like these pens. And then she started shouting for whoever was the coordinator to come bring her a different pen. We did not have the bonding moment that I had dreamed of. So today I'm going to be talking about Girl Stolen, my biggest seller to date, and its companion novel, Count All Her Bones. Tomorrow I'll be talking about my books inspired by Multnomah County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue. So Girl Stolen, which the hardcover looks like this. The paperback has a red cover with yellow crime scene tape on it. It started in 2005 when I was working full time at Kaiser Permanente. I was getting ready to go to work and I turned on the TV and there was this girl, uh, 16 or 17 years old, talking about how she had been waiting for her mom and stepdad in the car. Her mom had left the keys in the car and somebody came along and stole the car, not noticing that she was sitting in the back. And he let her go after about 10 minutes. And the next day, she and her mom were basically on every single channel that I turned to talking about what had happened. And in fact, this girl, her name's Heather, it felt like it had been almost an adventure for her where I feel like I would have been freaked out. So as soon as I saw it, I thought, what if he had kept her? Are there things that a blind person would know or be able to do that a sighted person wouldn't be able to guess that they could do that? So I and I also knew, of course, that I'd want to keep her. So I want the kidnappers to hold on to her. You know, you can't really write a book called "The Day I Was Accidentally Kidnapped" for 10 minutes. So when I finished the book, though, my editor at the time told me that he thought kidnapping books were overdone and he would only buy the book maybe if I rewrote the whole thing so that it was told from the Griffin's point of view, the accidental kidnapper, and nothing from Cheyenne's point of view. And I was like thinking, well, Cheyenne's the most interesting. Who doesn't want to know what it's like to be blind? And I don't want to have it be that she is just telling someone what it's like to be blind. I want you to experience it. So I just decided to walk away from that and not uh, to try and find someone else who would buy the book. And it was super scary. And my agent sent the book out to other editors, and it found a home with Christy Ottaviano at Henry Holt. She now has her own imprint called Christy Ottaviano Books. And since then, Girl Stolen has made at least a dozen state lists. It's been picked as one of the best books in Ireland. It's been a Scholastic bestseller. It was a YALSA quick pick and best fiction for young adults and a Barnes and Noble top teen pick. And somebody is trying real hard to make it into a movie, although right now nothing around movies or TV shows is happening at all, but when things pick up, maybe. So the book was really fun to research. And then I always said I was not going to write a second book. People really wanted to know. There's kind of a cliffhanger at the end of the first book, which I put in deliberately. I wanted readers to think about what should Cheyenne say to Griffin's question at the end of the book, and I didn't want to tell them the answer. But over time, I started thinking about it more, and I came up with a good story. So that's how Count Holler Bones came about. For that book, for a long time, the working title was Boys Stolen, which I knew wouldn't work. And I was trying to find a good title, and then I was listening to NPR, and they were having a haiku contest, and someone had written a haiku that they read on the air called Count All My Bones, Softly Lay Them Side by Side, Believe That I Mattered. And I thought, ooh, Count All My Bones is so creepy. And then I thought, why not use Count All Her Bones? And even though I didn't need to because it was so short and there's only 4 words and I only changed one of them, I did track down the lady who wrote the haiku and got her permission to use it in the book. So in the intervening years, technology had changed everything for the blind. There is so many cool apps out there if you're blind that can read menus to you, that can tell you exactly how many steps it is to someplace, that can identify objects for you. There's a app called Cam Find, and you can point it at something. Like say you have 5 cans of soup and you want tomato rice, but you have 5 different flavors. You can point it at it. You can by can, and it will tell you what's in the can. And then the free version will try and sell you more of that soup. But I went to the Oregon Commission for the Blind, and Richard Turner, who works there, showed me all these cool apps. And he put me in touch with his coworker, Angela Hale. I had specific questions on blind women wearing makeup. In my mind, if I was blind, I would never wear makeup, but it turns out blind women are just like sighted people in that some love to wear makeup and others don't. So she talked to me all about it. She even recommended the brand of eyeshadow I now use. I also talked to Cody Keplinger, who is probably best known as the author of The Duff. She's blind. She has some sight, but not much, and uses a guide dog. And she talked to me about using a guide dog. And I wanted to do some self defense for the blind. So there's a program in Portland called Sightless Self Defense that Sensei Stan Miller runs as a small circle jiu-jitsu. That's actually one of the hardest things I've ever gotten into. People were suspicious and they didn't see why I wanted to come in and observe this class, and it took forever to talk my way into there. I also talked to this guy named Stephen Nichols who developed a program called One Touch, where his idea is if you're blind and someone grabs you, all you need is that one touch to be able to feel where their thumb is. That gives you an idea of where their body is in relationship to you and how you can attack them. And I was writing the book and I had some questions about a climactic scene. I actually ended up meeting with him and the main assistant, Miranda Brown, in a Portland hotel room because they were there to speak to a blind conference. And I brought my pages for the climactic scene, and Miranda brought her cane, and I had this idea of how you could fight back with a cane, and it turned out my idea was totally wrong. They read through the whole thing, rewrote it on the spot, and then acted it out while I filmed them with my phone. So at one point, we're in this DoubleTree motel. People are walking by with their Starbucks coffee, and they're looking because she has him down on his knees and she's choking him with her cane. You can get away with a lot if you do not look upset. So nobody asked us what we were doing. I also put Brazilian Jiu Jitsu in the book. So I talked to my teachers about it. And also someone that I did Kung Fu with, who's now a black belt, Jadra Perfetti, let me borrow her first name and her badass spirit and put her in the book as a bodyguard. So I even talked to this guy at Car Automotive News about driverless cars. And I talked to a pathologist about a gunshot wound I wanted to have that wouldn't damage a person too badly. So while I was writing the book, I broke my hand, which is not an experience I would recommend if you need to type. I bought a program called Dragon Dictation that supposedly works really well. It never understood anything I said. I told it I broke my hand carrying a flat of berries, and it typed, I broke my hand carrying a flask of fairies. And then the Mac one, I yelled at it and I said, why don't you understand me? I hate you. And it literally typed, what you see me, I need you, which creeped me out. It was like my Macintosh loved me more than I loved it. So, um, but those two books have been really fun. I get letters from blind people asking me if I'm blind. I feel like I did a good job in the research. I'm sure there's little things I didn't quite get right, but I tried to get it right as much as I could. If you are writing from the point of view of something that you're not, you have to do so much research. And even now, if I was beginning a new book and I wanted to write one about someone who's deaf, I don't know, I might feel like maybe that's not my place because it's not my voice. But then again, maybe I would write it. But as the main character, I would certainly have some hesitations. So that's it for today. Tomorrow I'll be talking about The Body in the Woods and Blood Will Tell, my two books inspired by Multnomah County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue. You guys have a great day. Bye bye.